Wealth family, and welcome again to this awesome channel where we discuss very interesting things that will support you in managing your personal wealth, in creating wealth, and in using it to be a blessing to others. So, today we're going to be discussing a question that I get, and it is, can single people create wealth, or should single people be creating wealth? Shouldn't we wait till we get married and then we can go ahead? Why should we pursue wealth as a single person? So before we continue, make sure you click the subscribe button and you like and share, and let's continue. Many people think that singleness is a waiting period. It's like you are in a waiting room, and the aim of that waiting room is to get married. Unfortunately, that is a wrong perception. Singleness is a state or a stage in life. And so we are born, we are single, we are there, we get married, and you may become single again through divorce or death. You may experience singleness at different times of your life. You may also never get married, and so you need to consider whether you are going to build a life that you want to live, whether you are married or single, or you are going to wait till that D-Day comes. Yes, it's a good thing to get married, but before you get married, you need to give yourself permission to still live a fulfilling life. And when you look at it now, the way the world is going, it's not like it was in the past, where you had to live and grow very old before you could accumulate wealth. We have different streams of income, and many people are exploring it. So if you are earning and you are making money here and there, instead of just spending it all with the hope that finally when you settle down, you will now create or build wealth, why don't you start to implement some of these good principles that we share here? Because as you start early, it is going to help you. Remember, you have not stopped going to school because you are not married. You have not stopped pursuing your dreams in career because you are not married. So with the same focus, you should be bent on building a wealthy life, just like you are doing with the rest. And then when you get married, it becomes a good thing for you to do. Now, as a young person, when you create wealth, sometimes the fears people have is, when it comes to the ladies, is that if they have wealth, no one will be interested in them. If it comes to the men, they feel that if they have wealth, all the ladies will be interested is their wealth. That is in part true, but it should mean that when you are true to yourself and using your gifts and managing your finances very well, you would attract the people who also appreciate that. So even though people will come with ill intentions or wanting to take advantage of your wealth, which you should be aware of, it will also show the type of person. A good person too will be attracted to you because they can see that you are managing your things well, and if they join forces with you, you will really be able to do something great. So it is a plus, a feather in your cap if you continue to build well. Don't let these fears limit you, that you stay in poverty and struggling just because you think people have certain perceptions about you. It can also be a plus for your life. Having money too when you are young, or having wealth too, people tend to think that you are doing some scandalous thing, you are sakawa, you are doing scams, and it's not possible. In this day and age, it is very possible. We have so many industries like the tech one, entrepreneurship, that you are able to build companies, sell them off. People are being very creative and are being paid well. So let's also break that myth that if a young person has money, if a single person has money, they have either sold their marriage or their womb or something out for that money. It can't be genuine. So don't be afraid of that. Young people can genuinely create wealth, can genuinely build empires, and be able to manage their finances very well, even in their single state. Now, what are some of the advantages? If you start early, if you start before you have a family, you have a higher chance of retiring early comfortably. Not just retiring, but being comfortable. Because when you start and put the basics in place, and as we've talked before on the stages of the wealth journey, you become financially free, self-sufficient, and then you become wealthy where your money works for you. At a certain stage in life, you can actually decide not to work again and let your money work for you. At that stage, you can retire. So it's a plus if you start early and start to build when you don't have other commitments that may drag you off or that may affect your focus. So that by the time you start living or having a family, etc., you can decide that, oh, I have already put these things in place, and so I've decided to retire. The other advantage is that building wealth early allows you to have time for your family. For many people who have started with their careers with family, it is always a tug of war to choose. Do you choose your career or do you choose your family? Some careers are so taxing. You are at work 8 to 5, sometimes you have to work weekends, and you are torn between having time for the family and also having time for your career, which is your source of income, which is supporting you. But while you are single, if you pay attention and focus on this, by the time your husband, wife, children come into the scene, you have built a certain leverage that you can now have more time for them without being afraid of your financial security or compromising the lifestyle you want to live. So it is actually an advantage to start early whilst you are single, to make sure that you have time for your family in the future. The other one too is that as you explore multiple streams of income, as you look at your talents and gifts and put them into businesses and ventures here and there, what you are doing is also creating opportunities for others. So imagine you have the gifts to start a school, you are passionate about starting a school or an orphanage or even a tech business, whatever it is, and you say that unless you get married, you won't do this. Can you imagine the lives of people who you have put on hold, who could have been helped by this venture? So even as we pursue wealth, let us not be so centered on ourselves only. Let's know that we are here to create things. You build that orphanage, you are going to support so many orphans who are out there. You build that school, you have created employment, you are providing quality education, you are running that hospital, you are delivering health care, you're running that business, manufacturing something. You are doing it to also help others. So while you are single, you have the capacity and the potential to help your community, to help others, and to also make sure that others can be financially secure. So remember, it is not all about you. So don't put all this on hold, that when you get married, before you go into doing all these things and using it. And finally, I would like to say that this approach helps us to build generational wealth. Too often, we have seen in the past our parents and generation before us to just struggle through, manage to take care of us, and by the time a little wealth is accumulated, they are at the end of their life. And we also start struggling through, and that cycle continues. But if you start as a single person, what happens is that you are able to build for quite a while. By the time you have a family, you realize that they don't start from ground zero. At least you have placed them on a certain level and they can build on that. That makes it easier for the next generation to build. And before you see, you have started a trajectory of generational wealth. And generations unborn will always bless that great-great-great-grandfather or great-great-great-grandmother who was able to build this. Up to date, we are partaking of companies that their ancestors built. We are still getting products from them, which goes back so many years because someone committed to do that and to put that into place. So I encourage you, don't limit yourself by your relational state. It is a stage in life. You can still live a fulfilled life now, and please pursue creating wealth and be a blessing to your community, because the benefits of it go very far. Thank you for staying with us, and please make sure you share this content and spread it that others can be well informed. Have a nice day.